PWBA title. She's in the same position this afternoon, looking for number 8 next. The PWBA welcomes you to Terre Haute Bowling Center in Terre Haute, Indiana for the 7th consecutive season as we bring you the finals of the Greater Terre Haute Open. Today's opening shootout features the '99 Rookie of the Year, Tiffany Stanbrough, last week's champ, Kendra Gaines, and reigning Bowler of the Year, Carolyn Dorin-Ballard. The survivor of that match goes up against the defending champion in Terre Haute, Cara Honeychurch, and the victor there will challenge the top seed, considered the hometown favorite from nearby Indianapolis, Indiana, Brenda Norman. Hello everyone, I'm Jan Schmidt alongside Cathy Dorin-Lizzi. She's currently ranked 7 on tour. Cathy, we've talked so much about the importance of college bowling and Team USA bowling, the benefits and how prepared the athletes come out here on tour. But has it led to some unrealistic expectations? Now you were a top collegiate bowler, top amateur bowler. Did you come on tour with unrealistic expectations?
Not at all, Jan. When I came out on tour, I idolized the pros because they were the best. Regardless of the success I had as an amateur bowler, this was a different lifestyle and I was now competing against the best female women bowlers in the world. Change was not an option for me. It was a must in order to be a top player. Now, on the other hand, the amateur girls that are coming out today have been trained with the confidence that they are number 1 and that they are going to win a lot out here. Confidence is definitely necessary, but reality has to take a front seat also. It's not as easy as it looks out here competing against the world's best, and if it was, everybody would be doing it.
Very good point. Now, I guess that seems to be the case with 2 of our competitors this week, that there's still a learning curve no matter how much experience you have. Brenda Norman, a collegiate All-American, yet in her 6th year on tour, still looking for that first victory. And Kendra Gaines, 3 years of success on Team USA, but she's in her 5th year and now just starting to see the success on tour.
Well, anyone, including myself, that watches Brenda Norman bowl can't believe that she doesn't have more statistics to her credit. She is simply flawless with her physical game. But mentally, like other pro bowlers, Brenda's had to overcome some mental difficulties trying to find out why she can't get over her disappointment of not being more successful. This week, instead of coming out and wanting more, she took patience and took the honors to be our top seed tonight, looking for title number 1. Kendra Gaines, on the other hand, came out with huge expectations and lived up to them her first year on tour by winning a title the very first year that she joined. Then she just became an average bowler, a little disappointed but focused, went home, got a lot more versatile with her game, came out, learned to be more confident on numerous different oil patterns, and tonight Kendra is looking to win back-to-back titles for the first time in her career. She'll have a hard time tonight. There's a lot of talent out there and a lot of titles, but Jan, I think they're ready.
I agree, Cathy. Thanks for that analysis. Carolyn Dorin-Ballard, speaking of a lot of titles, 17 of them, 13th year on tour, age 37. This lady, we saw her last year, week after week after week, and she is one who has met and exceeded all of her expectations in her Bowler of the Year performance last season. She's just taking a little time while my partner joins me up here in the broadcast booth. Carolyn taking a deep breath. She was top seed actually going into position round last night. Very close though between the top 6 or 7 athletes, and she ended up dropping to 3rd, so she's in this opening shootout match, which I know she has never preferred. And we're ready for the opening shot. Shot you definitely want to see.
I expected nothing less.
Kendra Gaines, you just talked about her, hot off that victory last week. Cathy, she talked about how her partner actually helped her in getting that victory. Melissa Brownie stepped up to the plate every time.
It's so important in any type of doubles format to have confidence not only in yourself but in your partner. Even if your partner isn't up to the caliber that you are, it makes a difference.
And I think that helped Kendra get through that dry spell of 4 years without a title. Now Tiffany Stanbrough, Rookie of the Year back in '99. she hasn't had this success she expected, but she wasn't trained through college or Team USA, and I think came out here saying, okay, I know I need to learn. I know I need to change a lot of things, because she didn't have all that formal training. And now making 2 out of 3 shows.
And she's got such a nice, bubbly personality. You wouldn't know if she was arrogant just by meeting her. She's just thrilled to death that she's made 2 shows in the first swing. And that's where you have to start.
Saw Carolyn's average of 207 for this week. That was actually the highest average of anyone this week, but she only won 13 matches, lost 11, so she ended up in 3rd position. Opens with a big double here. Again, those 30 bonus pins, the athletes qualify, then they go to match play, Cathy, and then match play, 30 bonus pins, very important. 24
Extremely
games.
important. There are many weeks where the girl that leads the tournament, or even one of the top 5 that makes it, didn't win that won more games than someone that maybe out-averaged them. So the bonus pins are extremely important.
Well, it was a lower scoring week, and yet so far, everyone's striking. Tiffany Stanbrough just making it in that position round last night due to a chopped spare. Carol Giannotti block chopped the spare in the 10th frame at 245. Carol bowling through a lot of pain.
Well, as you can see, the lane conditions this week, the surface was a wood surface. The volume of oil was 26.32 milliliters per lane, and the length of oil was 37 feet. Now, just to let you know how surface dictates how the breakdown of the lanes will be. A lot of girls felt that they played the lanes the same this week that they did last week, and yet he went 5 feet longer this week. But last week the surface was a full-length Guardian, which tends to have a hooking motion to it.
So our first shot that's not a strike, Carolyn Dorin-Ballard in the pocket, but leaving the 10 pin. Meanwhile, Kendra Gaines stepping up, and really the key this week was to keep it in play. Kendra basically said that was her strength, keeping the ball in play.
I think that was many of their strengths, just keeping the ball in play, and you have to make your spares. Clean games win matches.
In fact, you had a nice term for it last night, Cathy. You said, hey, it was damage control.
Absolutely. No doubt about it. Easy spare for Carolyn with the plastic ball. The one ball, you know where it's always going. Great, great game on Kendra. Smooth off her hand, just a little high. Leaving the 4 pin, no problem with that spare.
As you talked about spares being a key, Kendra told us that her weakness was her spare shooting this week. Did not shoot her spares very well.
And Tiffany had the same weakness, her spares, but fortunately they struck enough to pick them up.
So the 3rd frame, 3 was not a charm here, because all 3 athletes striking for 2 frames, and now no strikes in the 3rd frame. Carolyn Dorin-Ballard stepping up in the 4th.
First TV appearance for Carolyn here in Terre Haute in 7 years. Can you believe it with her stats? And she's never made a show here.
That's amazing.
We may have to relook at that.
Oh, coming up light, leaving a 7 pin. Now, Carolyn is one of the players you can look at and say, you know, she had college bowling experience, but she had a learning curve coming in. She was not that successful in the beginning, but look at what she's done in the last 5 years.
And it's all your desire and your want. If you want to be great, you're going to be at some point. It's just inevitable, because the eye of the tiger, or your heart, just keeps you in there wanting to be better. And it's proven every week. The top 5 are just great bowlers. Different names, too.
Plus the willingness to accept that you do have to change and you do have to learn some things. That's tough sometimes, because if you're good in college or Team USA or even at home, and you come out here, it is just not the same. You're bowling for your living.
Kendra Gaines had the 2nd highest TV pair average at 218.75, which is a great average for what the averages were out there all week.
Exactly.
Now, there was an errant shot. You can see she wasn't happy with that. And like you said, honest. She's got to be honest with herself and know she didn't throw that good.
Right.
Or else she can't adjust.
Yeah, because if you don't know that, exactly, you can't decide.
Honesty is the best policy. You have to be honest and know when it's time to change. Great shot by Tiffany. What a strong little bowler.
Oh, trouble with that spare for Kendra Gaines. Right now, Tiffany Stanbrough is in the lead. But we're just underway. We'll be right back with more action from Terre Haute Bowling Center. Greater Terre Haute Open are being brought to you by the Women's International Bowling Congress, striving for 87 years to identify and fulfill the needs of women bowlers. By Travelodge Hotels. Please. There's a look at the score. I said Tiffany Stanbrough in the lead. Actually, Tiffany Stanbrough and Carolyn Dorin-Ballard tied right now for the lead. Carolyn Dorin-Ballard having a great year, as we talked about last year, and she has been aptly rewarded. One of the many accolades Carolyn Dorin-Ballard received after winning the PWBA Player of the Year was the New Jersey Sports Writers Association Bowler of the Year. Carolyn was joined at the luncheon by friends and family, and even the mayor of Linden, John Gregorio. This prestigious function honoring many of the greats in the New York, New Jersey metropolitan area was a memorable moment in Carolyn's career. The PWBA congratulates her on this tremendous honor. And right now, she's looking to create some more accolades for herself. In 2002, making 3 out of 5 telecasts, but winless. Now, last year at this time, she already had 2 titles and 2 third-place finishes.
She must be feeling a little naked.
A little let down.
Well, the competition's gotten tougher out here. You know, when you do something what she's done, they want after you.
They do, and that's what... As you watch that great shot, that's what makes everyone out here strive to be better.
Yes, absolutely. You want to beat the best. And in order to be the best, you have to beat the best. She's the best. It's almost a compliment that she wants to, you know, we want to beat her. It's an accolade of our own.
Kendra now in the 5th frame, coming off of that open, leaving the 3-6-10. And it was interesting that Carolyn told us last year and for many years that it was because of Wendy McPherson and her tremendous seasons that she was striving, that Carolyn strived to be so much better. So it really does make everyone better, and the talent level has become
it sure does
really high out here.
Oh, and Tiffany tripping the 3-pin and showing emotion. I love that.
She would have knocked that down with her fist if it didn't fall.
I think you're right.
Kendra covering up the 3-6-10. And Carolyn told us she bowled very well in qualifying, but she said match play, she had some issues with her timing.
Yeah, even last week she had quick feet, and unfortunately when you have fast feet you have a tendency to pop up because you're at the line ahead of yourself, and then you get a very bad read on your ball reaction, and therefore you can't make the correct adjustments at the right time.
So one of the things she was doing was counting her steps, counting her cadence, trying to correct that. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, she told us. That's not the shot she wanted to make.
No. She didn't look like she really came through that one. She looked a little tentative, and therefore that's the result, 2-4-10. Spareable, though.
Kendra told us last week that that win was huge. It just absolutely huge for her.
100% better shot by Kendra. Now you can see Carolyn here. She just looks like she let out of it right at the end. And unfortunately, on the condition this week, you pay for it.
Oh,
but she makes it.
That's the way to do it.
She wanted that. That's what wins matches, staying on your spares and your splits, the makeable ones. Boy, I would have felt sorry for that pin if it didn't go down.
Great spare shot to keep her in this match. Tiffany Stanbrough in the lead right now by 10 pins. Could have made it 20 there, but she didn't kick out the 10 pin. Tiffany working on staying focused, not looking at everything around her.
Which is a common thing everybody does. We all look around. We all want to know what the scoring pace is. So in defense of her, she's being just a human being out on the tour looking around. But it paid off. She was extremely focused, and look where she's at. Great comeback shot by Carolyn. Ring 10. Easy spare for Tiffany.
So it looked like a lot of strikes in the beginning, but this is more conducive of what was seen throughout the week. If you did hit the pocket, not as much carry.
And remember, we've talked about it every week, the transition period. What to do during that transition, just stay safe and stay patient and make your spares.
Just like that, covering up the spare. And
Kendra feels she's creating so many more chances for herself. It's so great to see someone so confident in their game to say, I don't care what they put out on the lanes, I'm going to bowl good on it. I think that's great.
It is, and she said to us last night, hey, I'm on a high and it's cool. And that was more than high, actually. Brooklyn leaving the 6-pin.
Now, she went high the last time on lane 20 also, so she may have to make a move. I'd be shocked if she didn't.
Her high game this week, 259, 156 her low game. A lot of low games around, but some of the pairs did produce some high scoring also.
That's what you have to do, just grind it out and stay focused until you get on a pair where you can shoot a 220 or a 230 and pick up some pins.
Tiffany Stanbrough in the 7th frame.
Great shot by Tiffany.
So it's still a close match, but Tiffany Stanbrough is on top by a narrow margin. We'll be back with the conclusion of this match in just a moment.
And you can only dream of, you look at all these other sports and said, oh my God, yeah, bowling finally made it. On winning, I think if it goes on statistics, I have a pretty good chance after last year, but I'm in some pretty rough company. So hopefully stat-wise, they look at that and I have a really, really good chance, and I'm very honored to be in the company of the other nominees.
And there's a look at the records that fell last year at the hand of Carolyn Dorin-Ballard. 18 TV appearances. Record was 15. Look at all those games bowled, Kathy.
985. I said to you the first time we ever saw this, you'd be icing till midnight after 985 games.
Exactly.
That's a lot of games.
Highest averaging career TV games, 217. 7 titles. That tied a record, actually, of Patty Costello for the most professional titles.
To a lot of people, a 217 average isn't high, but for 985 games it is. And bowling everywhere.
Going a little bit high, leaving a 4-7. Right now we're in the 8th frame. Tiffany Stanbrough still in the lead. Kendra Gaines trailing by 22. She needs to start setting one up here in the 8th.
Oh, fabulous shot.
It was. Kendra's husband, John Gaines, on hand this week, and she typically hasn't done this well sometimes when he's around. She said this is the second show she's made with him here, but he was a big help to her this week.
Well, John's got enough experience to teach his own class of up-and-coming students, so
Sure.
It's so nice to have feedback and another pair of eyes behind you.
I think she pressured so much when he was there sometime before that she wanted to make it when he was there so bad.
You psych yourself right out.
Yeah, it's hard. It's sometimes hard bowling in front of family and friends, as we may see how Brenda Norman reacts to that later on, bowling in front of a big crowd. Tiffany Stanbrough, how she started in 8th, moving up last night in the final position round to make the show.
It's so funny, when we spoke to Tiffany last night, she said, I kind of knew I had a chance, but I didn't really think about it. But for her, that was the best way to go about it. Don't focus so much on it, because then you start to get too much pressure. She did the perfect thing.
And she picked up pins just a little bit almost each game. No big game that jumped her in there. It was just a little each game. Ooh, just hanging on for that spare. And then, as I mentioned, Carol Giannotti blocked, re-injured a knee, I believe a different injury now on her slide knee, and was in a lot of pain trying to get through that.
She was in excruciating pain yesterday morning when I saw her, and I have to tell you, for as great as she bowled, I couldn't believe it.
Tiffany Stanbrough now in the lead by 23 pins. 2 frames left, though. It's still anyone's match. We've seen it turn around with a bigger lead than that in the final 2 frames.
Now, quite a few of the players said they played in the majority of the week, but when it got to Friday night and yesterday, they had to move right because they appeared to be tighter. And as you can see, Carolyn is a little bit further right than she's been. Great shot. Couldn't have thrown that any better, and she needed that.
Right, actually, Carolyn Dorin-Ballard only trails Tiffany by 12 pins. It showed Tiffany's lead compared to Kendra Gaines.
Well, and this is when the horns are going to come out. She's going to put it there when she needs it. 10 in the pit. Couldn't have thrown it better.
Setup shot here for Kendra Gaines. She is down by 23.
Oh, beautiful. She obviously made an adjustment because the last 2 frames she was high, and that was perfect.
So they'll put the squeeze to Tiffany Stanbrough. Ball speed critical for her this week. She's trying to slow everything down.
Wow, I'm impressed.
So
I think she's impressing herself.
So as we head into the 10th, Carolyn Dorin-Ballard trailing by 12. That's behind Tiffany Stanbrough. Kendra Gaines down by 23. All three athletes on a strike. A lot of pins they can catch up here in the 10th frame. Carolyn Dorin-Ballard will be first up. Carolyn has been here so many times before. Tiffany's sitting by just going, don't make me work too hard. Give me a break.
Well, Carolyn also defeated Kendra and Tiffany. Those were her only 2 victories in match play. So maybe she's having a flashback.
Needs it to hook, and it does.
Now on that shot, she still got it to the right, but she was a little softer than she was before, and she stayed on that shot better. That was the difference.
Carolyn Dorin-Ballard setting the bar here for the 10th frame.
You can see here she didn't fall out of it like the other one, and even though it got right, she allowed the lane to bring it in because of softer ball speed. Great shot.
Kendra in a must-strike position right now.
Wow, another beautiful shot. Kendra is such a strong young lady, has a beautiful game. She's so smooth. And you have to be on these conditions. You have to be smooth. That's why they're out there.
Exactly. Taking a little bit of time on these shots, trying to regroup. One of the things we've talked about is in bowling, unlike other sports, you do not have a lot of time to regroup between your executions.
Again, soft ball speed. Perfect. She's playing the lane exactly the way it needs to be played.
Getting the carry right now, and she'll be able to strike again for 225. Kendra Gaines, best she can do is 214. So really, Kendra's out of this match at this point, but a good performance for Kendra Gaines. 3 telecasts in a row. This lady's making her presence known on tour.
She sure is. She's been bowling great for at least the last year and a half. And everything she's worked on definitely shows.
Tiffany, yes, the pressure will be on her when she steps up.
Carolyn is the only one out of these 3 ladies that never fell lower than 4th throughout the week.
Carolyn strikes out for 225, so Tiffany Stanbrough will have to get the first strike and 9 spare in order to win this match.
Now she really needed her focus.
Now she told us she was very nervous last night, this being Tiffany. But usually if she makes a show and then makes another one a couple weeks later, she's a lot more relaxed.
Yes.
But in this position, I don't know.
Good shot. Wow.
Great shot.
Look at that face. That's a game face, Jen.
She came to play.
Worked on her ball speed. It's a beautiful release. Picture perfect.
She'll need at least 9 on this ball. 9 and a spare would win it. 8 and a spare could tie it.
Probably what she wouldn't want.
Anything less than 8, and Carolyn Dorin-Ballard will advance.
Wow. Unbelievable where this girl has come from.
And a sigh of relief. Blow some air out. Okay.
Almost identical. Maybe got that one just a hair right of where her previous shot was, but because of her speed, she's consistent. That's what you need, consistency. That was the sigh of relief shot.
It sure was. So Tiffany Stanbrough will advance. But first, when we return, the athletes speak out. I think it's off to the movies. 10th, here's a look at her first shot. Can't do it any better than that. Shot number 2, ditto. So she advances. Life on the PWBA Tour takes a lot of dedication and work, but there is an occasional break, and to get away from the soap opera life on tour, the athletes go to the movies. They talked about their favorites in this week's PWBA Out Loud.
I like a lot of movies. Stripes is my all-time favorite comedy movie. I always liked Wizard of Oz, and Chances Are.
My favorite movie is Clueless. It sounds kind of wacky, but it's just always a movie. It's a funny movie, it's a cute movie, and if I'm ever in a down mood, I just pop the tape in and just watch that, and it just makes me laugh.
Bridges of Madison County. It's just a really heartbreaking love story, and I'm a set for love stories.
I'm a big moviegoer, and it's hard to pick. I mean, I like a lot of romantic comedies. Boomerang's one of my favorite movies. I like Return to Me. There's a few, but mostly in that realm, you know, just someone's in love, I'm happy with it.
I think one of my favorite movies was Forrest Gump, because every time I watch it, I laugh, and there's so many profound things that this guy says during the movie from somebody so simple.
My favorite movie was A League of Their Own. Loved Tom Hanks, loved Gina Davis and all the characters, Rosie O'Donnell. Women's baseball, big time movement. When the men went to war, the women came out of the kitchen and went to the baseball field and played and saved the sport.
So it will be Tiffany Stanbrough up against Cara Honeychurch in the semifinal match in just a moment. Striking like that, big score to defeat Wendy McPherson, 234 to 220. It was the biggest purse in women's bowling history, $55,000. Kim Terrell, welcome. Thank you for joining us. We know you did not get time to speak at the end of that U.S. Open Championship, and we have been bombarded with emails about that. So we thought we'd bring you in the booth and give you a chance to talk about that victory.
Well, you and me both being bombarded. I've gotten emails and phone calls about it. It was just a pretty special moment, and unfortunately there wasn't enough time at the end of the show, but I just taken the opportunity to thank my family, Ebonite, who has been so supportive and helping me. You know, there's so many young, great players on tour, and for them to take a chance on me is just really very special. So it's just been lots and lots of fun.
Okay, well, you're going to stay with us for just a moment as we get ready for the semifinal match. Cara Honeychurch first up. Now, Kim, you are the spokesperson for College Bowling USA, and how did you like last week's event? What did that mean?
Oh, that was such a great event. I had so much fun. My partner, Jody, from Wichita State, she's a great, great player. She was a senior this year, so hopefully she'll come out on tour, and she's got a lot of potential, and I had a great time. I hope all the other players really enjoyed it. It was really something special and different for us.
Cara Honeychurch opening shot, leaving the 6-pin.
Did it bring back a lot of memories for you? It did for me.
It really did. I just love bowling doubles.
I did too. I did too. I loved bowling the college atmosphere. It was just fun, and you were allowed to be free and yell and clap, and it was awesome. It really was.
Cara now going to convert her spare. Now, $55,000, Kim. I mean, what did that mean to you, the financial end of it?
You know, it doubled my earnings for the year. You know, so it turned it around, that's for sure.
Well, it wasn't enough, Jan. She came back this year and won the Queens right after it.
Well, you also came right out, yes, won the Queens. Now, did that U.S. Open victory, did that change your mindset going into this year?
You know, not very much. I mean, I've always spent a lot of time preparing each year and you know, working with my coach and my sports psychologist and really just, I felt like I was really starting to make some good steps towards being more successful out here. So I tried to just kind of keep on the same path.
It seems to be a very good path. Are you happy this year so far?
So far, yeah. I'm you know, looking to make some more TV shows and hopefully get off to a good start next week.
Well, I know a very good friend of yours that used to bowl on tour with you actually is at home now, just gave birth to 2 little tykes.
Oh, little Ryan and Troy, they're just the cutest little things, aren't they? I can't wait to get to Dallas so we start their next swing, and so I just can't wait to see them. Aren't they cute?
Ryan Phillip, born at 6 pounds 2 ounces, and Troy Christopher, born at 4 pounds 10 ounces. They're born May 16th. So are you kind of going to be anti-Kim?
Well, you know, Linda says you're welcome to stay at the house because they're pretty close, but you know, I'm not so sure how they're sleeping these days, and they're both real excited. I think this is their first weekend. Starting today is their first day of mom and dad all alone. Both grandmas have been there, so they're just getting initiated, and hopefully they'll get some sleep. I think they're both on pretty different schedules too, though, they say.
Chris Barnes, a top star on the PBA tour. Tiffany Stanbrough, you see right there, she right now trails by 1 with that 9 count. That on our mini scoreboard, sponsored by Travelodge Hotels. Tough break on that shot.
She is so lined in and so loose. It's great to see her that way. She's worked hard to get here. So, Kim, you can't tell us if there's one specific thing that you've done different to bring you on this strong. You've always been a consistent top player out here. But what is the one thing, if you had to pinpoint, that got you over the hump to be like the best bowler on tour right now?
Well, I think a couple of things I've been working with my sports psychologist about is really just stop. I used to put so much pressure on myself, and I really bowled with a lot of fear and trying not to make mistakes. And I think just stepping up there every shot and trying to give it my best has really been my focal point, and it seems to have made the biggest difference.
You can see we've had a different winner every week out here, which is great because it shows the versatility not only in the bowlers but also in the lane conditions.
Exactly, and we'll see obviously another different winner this week, as Kendra Gaines did not advance and would have been the first 2-time winner if she could have got to the championship and won.
Now, you were talking about pressure, and that's so interesting because someone like Tiffany, who's just coming into her own, says, I knew I had a chance to make the show, but I really wasn't thinking about it. That, to me, is her way of taking the pressure off. Whereas some other people, they like to know everything they need.
Yeah, I think it does make a difference, and just expectations. I mean, I think when you haven't won, people, you know, they have good intention and they think you'll do a good job, but you know, there's not the expectation to be successful every time because you haven't done it yet.
Right. So Cara coming up light, 3.56.
Now, Cara's also been working on staying behind the ball more and her ball speed. And here you could see when she stays behind it, it definitely takes some reaction off the back. And that's probably why she came up a little light.
Her average on TV pair, 222. That would be the highest of the finalists.
And she's had some struggles this year so far. The lanes have really hooked a lot more for her, which she's not accustomed to. She's had to alter her visual perception of the lane and her physical game. But she's a tough cookie. She still always shows up in the top 5.
Tiffany wanted me to say happy birthday to Tara, her cousin. It's her birthday today. She's watching, Tara actually watching the show, and Tiffany wanted to win one for her cousin. Family, an important issue out here, and I need to take a minute and wish well from all the PWBA players to Anne-Marie Dugan's mother-in-law, Mary Dietz. She's recovering, was in the hospital last week. I was remiss in not recognizing that last week, but we've all been praying for her, and we hope she does well.
We sure have. And Tiffany's mom and dad, Roy and Beverly. And, of course, Uncle Bob. We missed you today.
And they didn't come out.
I can't believe it.
If you're at home watching, she was shocked that you weren't coming out. Maybe they're taking a different strategy, thinking if they don't come out, she might win.
Hey, whatever works.
Well, tonight, the Interleague Baseball is in full swing on ESPN. Chipper Jones, Gary Sheffield, and the Atlanta Braves visit A-Rod and the Texas Rangers. Sunday Night Baseball presented by Nextel at 8 Eastern. Coverage begins with Baseball Tonight, presented by Pep Boys at 7 Eastern. For more information, as always, go to ESPN.com. Very light, tough spare.
I'm not sure what she did there, because from my angle, it looked as good as the other ones. But maybe she got a little fast, got it a little left.
And that was her key, ball speed, Kathy. If she went too fast, had the speed too accelerated too much, it was a problem for her. She doesn't get that ball roll.
She gets the wood, and that's important.
So neither player off to a quick start, but Cara Honeychurch in the lead. We'll be back with more semifinal action from Terre Haute, Indiana.
Does a bear sleep in the...
Indiana, home of Indiana State University, and a pretty good basketball player in his own right, Larry Bird. We're inside Terre Haute Bowling Center. We've completed 3.5 frames of the semifinal match. Honeychurch leads Stanbrough by 13 pins. I'm Jan Schmidt, along with my broadcast partner, Cathy Dorin-Lizzi. And we're joined also in the booth by Kim Terrell, the 2001 U.S. Open champion. Cara Honeychurch will be stepping up in the fourth. 3 consecutive spares. There's her 2002 average compared to 2001. Average is up this year, but that's kind of skewed by that one tournament where the averages were huge. We went away from sport bowling for a week, and there's been not enough games, really, to average that out.
Exactly. Boy, she was yelling that one in there. Come on, balls.
We talked to her last night about Kathy, about her being more animated. I saw her yesterday running shots out more than I've seen before, and it was an interesting discussion. Kim, you might jump in on this also. For women on tour, I mean, there's certain things that kind of are taboo. I mean, if you do them, you're shunned. I mean, they look at you like, how could you do that?
Yeah, there's a lot of kind of no-nos that, you know, seem to be coming out at right when you first come out. You kind of, the veterans make it clear what you should and shouldn't do, and you know, it's unfortunate because people should be who they are and have as much personality as they want on the lanes, and it's fun to watch.
As long as they're respectful. But you know what? We were talking about this last night. If you need a strike to win and you get it, act like you're happy.
That's right.
Because that's what you're here to do. You're here to beat everybody.
I mean, Kathy, you're pretty intense many times, and you have to show that.
Well, Cara didn't show much reaction on this. She came up very light. I think she's got a little too much ball speed on this shot. She leaves the bucket. Not an easy spare on this pattern, but she's a great spare shooter, so I don't see her having any difficulty. But ball speed is so critical. Tiffany worked really hard on her ball speed because she realized how critical it is.
Just covers up that spare. And the thing about women's sports, in many cases, if a man reacts a certain way, it's totally acceptable. But for women, for some reason, it's not in many cases. I mean, we have received some notes about some of the athletes being too aggressive on the TV, but you're competing. And hey, come on, it's 2002, let's go. You know?
This is my job, you know?
Well, Tiffany struggling just a bit here. Her average on TV pair 205.
Great physical game. You can see how fast her feet are. Very high backswing, and that's where she generates all her power because it's all arm swing with her, but what a great release.
Covers up the spare now. Kathy and Tiffany used just a couple balls throughout the week. I know she said like 2 or 3, but mainly stayed with 1.
She used a couple of balls, drilled 2 new balls before the last round of match play. She said that really made a difference. She tried to play in. She basically played all over the lane, as did Cara. And then finally said, up and Adams, the way I got to go. And that's how she played him last night and bowled her way right into the show.
How did you play him this week, Kim?
Well, I got to a slow start. I struggled, so I was kind of just grateful that we made the cut. And had a real good round, my first round of match play, and they were tricky. I mean, you really had to, I think speed control was really very big, and just the angle off your hand, if you could, you know, get it in the right direction off your hand, it was real significant.
Have you found a tremendous amount of variety week to week out here this year?
Absolutely. This is the most variety I think I've ever seen, and very welcome.
Oh, they just put you up as the 2002 WBC Queens champion. I can't keep up with you. Cara Honeychurch, 6th frame. Oh,
much better shot. See, the ball speed was so much slower. She allowed the lane to bring the ball into the pocket. Fortunately, she left a solid 10-pin. Nice classic style, but she stayed on that shot too. But nice and loose, didn't force it. Perfect ball speed, she just got robbed. I think the reason she's showing more emotion too, Jan, is because she has struggled a little bit. She used 10 balls this week, and she was a little lost. Cara was in 12th, 19th, 20th, 12th, 7th, and then 2nd. So normally she's always in the top 5 when she makes TV.
Right, that's right. She's not a big come-from-behind player.
Right. She said she kind of had an inkling she could make the show, and then last night she knew she did. She won 7 out of 8 games, which we talked about bonus pins. Huge, but she won her position round game to go into 2nd.
And she said she didn't even really know till the 5th frame of the final game that she was making the show, because it was so close. From 1st to 7th was so close. Look at the intensity.
Oh, I think that left lane is just a lot tighter for her.
It looks like it, so she'll probably be making a move there.
She looked loose. Ball speed was a lot slower than the previous shot on lane 19, but she's still coming up short.
Now, Cara's made the show here in this bowling center all 3 years that she's bowled on tour. But she said this year, totally different.
Yeah, she said nothing like the shot was last year, which was okay with her. But you kind of hope to come back to maybe something similar, considering she did win.
Cara spares it up. Kim Terrell, thank you for being with us. When we return, we'll find out which of these ladies gets the shot at the title. It's a celebration of women and sports. ESPN will also recognize and explore all the components of Title IX on its 30th anniversary. The weekend will encompass nearly 40 hours of programming, including professional women's sporting events, specials, documentaries, and classic moments in women's sports. Make sure that you tune in for all of that. We're in the semifinal match. Cara Honeychurch up by 10 pins right now. Tiffany Stanbrough, however, will be stepping up in the 7th with a chance to tie it if she strikes here. Tiffany currently ranked 15th on tour. Pretty high in the average category. She had a huge week that one week, but just hasn't been able to get the rankings up. But 15th, good. Very good ranking on tour.
Excellent for her. She's worked hard. Great shot. Blowing the pins around.
That evens up the match.
High backswing. It's just, and boy, she really ripped the cover off that one. As you can see, great rotation on the ball. Watches the ball the whole way down the lane. She wanted that. A lot of times coming up light in the pocket was better because you blew the pins around.
Well, that was to even the match. This to take a 10-pin lead if she strikes here. Oh, pin still rolling, but the rack will come down too soon.
Another good shot. She got that right a little bit. You can see a little high on the head pin, so everything just goes right around the 6 pin. But she can make this.
Makeable spare is what you're hoping for on this type of scoring. Of course, if you don't strike, you want to leave a makeable spare. First, you're hoping for a strike. Don't send me any letters about saying spare's a good score. Cara Honeychurch now stepping up in the 8th. She leads by just 1 pin. She is currently ranked 5th on tour, 8th in average and 5th in earnings. And Cara and Carolyn Dorin-Ballard were like 1-2, you know, most of the year last year. So actually for both of those ladies, significantly lower right now than they were at the start of last year.
Yeah, that's really only, it's so early in the year yet, but you're absolutely right.
Big strike for Cara, and she told Cathy earlier what changes she had to make for some of the lane conditions this year.
Yeah, I think it'd be safe to say that I've struggled more on the shorter patterns, particularly the last couple of weeks. So what I've done is to try and increase my ball speed slightly and also to get a little bit more behind the ball so I can take more of the back end out of play and play a little bit more up the boards.
You can definitely see by that last shot, the rotation on her ball. She was definitely more up the back of it. Very noticeable.
Cara is a worker. She is a worker.
She was runner-up to Player of the Year last year with 13 shows and 4 titles.
Oh. Now that's interesting because now she went high on the lane that she kept going light. So she obviously made an adjustment, which was the right thing to do. Threw it great, stayed up the back of it, but I think she might have just got it in a little to the right. And on this condition, there wasn't much hold area. So unfortunately, she may have to be a little more perfect than she's accustomed to. But she got the wood.
Cara, normally the accuracy type player, but Cathy, sometimes you make that guess. I mean, you're light, you have to trust it, make the move. You're not always right.
No, and she was going light previously, so she did the right thing by making the adjustment. It just didn't work.
So Tiffany Stanbrough, while she sat on the chair, just picked up a big lead here in this match, and she jumped all over it.
She told us last night, whatever happens, happens, but I'm going to have fun. I got my one show under my belt, and you're right, Jan. She looks so much less nervous now than she did before. A stepping stone for Tiffany.
Well, Tiffany's going to need a mark here in a good count in order to shut out Cara Honeychurch. Best Cara can shoot is 189. Oh, my.
Couldn't have thrown that any better. Look at the expression on her face.
Amazement, just like last match, she stepped up, did the job at hand, and did it.
Now she threw that, came back. I saw a little smile, and then she went right back to business.
And she'll just take care of a little business here and get some pins. That's all she'll need. A little bit of wood on this shot. That's enough wood on that shot. She's glancing over. Okay, let me check the score. Did I hurt myself here? But even if she doesn't throw another ball, she's already shooting in the 190s. The best Honeychurch can shoot is 189. Oh, I thought she was going to pick that up also.
Even though she didn't need it, she threw at it perfect. Wraps around the 7-pin. She angled that correctly. Luckily, she didn't need it.
Well, she's sitting there thinking now that she will have a shot at her first title. Both ladies a shot at their first title. Cara Honeychurch was 4-1 against all the finalists during the week, but didn't seem to help her out tonight. Covers it up, but Tiffany Stanbrough advances. First, when we come back, we'll have some special award winners in this week's WIBC Extra Frames. To set one up, it was a beauty, and in the 10th, needing a mark. Once again, repeat the best mark you can get. Yes, you can smile. Some special award winners this week from WIBC Extra Frames. At this year's annual meeting, the WIBC recognized 5 individuals for their contributions to bowling. Anita Manns of Austin, Texas was awarded the 2002 Alberta E. Crow Star of Tomorrow Scholarship Award, which is given annually to a female high school senior or college student who demonstrates outstanding bowling achievement, academic achievement, bowling potential, and sportsmanlike conduct. Anita, a freshman and collegiate bowler at Wichita State University, carries a 4.5 GPA on a 5.0 scale. Recently, her Wichita State University women's bowling team finished second in the 2002 Intercollegiate Bowling Championships. She has 2 career 300 games, a 791 3-game series, and a 214 high average. Helene Phillips of Washington, D.C. was awarded the 2002 Gladys M. Banker Friendship Award for her contributions to the Bowlers to Veterans Link Fund. This award was named for WIBC's 6th president and is presented to an individual who embraces the same ideals as the volunteers and leaders of the WIBC. Bruce Strom of Waterloo, Iowa, was named the 2002 WIBC Proprietor of the Year for his work with the Waterloo Women's Bowling Association. This award annually recognizes an outstanding bowling center proprietor for his or her enthusiastic support of local, state, and provincial women's bowling associations. The WIBC Helen Baker Award recognizes an outstanding WIBC leader who has made valuable contributions on the local, state, and provincial levels. This year it was presented to Pilar Kahala of Tampa, Florida. Pearl Keller of Chappaqua, New York, was named the 2002 Joyce Deitch Trailblazer Award recipient for her work with the Women's All-Star Association. This award, named for WIBC's 9th president, is presented to an individual or organization that has made a significant contribution to bowling. Adjectives describing a qualified candidate might include creative, innovative, visionary, determined, and driven. Congratulations to all of the winners. On behalf of the WIBC and the bowling industry, we thank you. Coming up next, Tiffany Stanbrough takes on Brenda Norman, both vying for their first career title. It should be a great championship match. Stay with us. We're ready for the championship match of the Greater Terre Haute Open. You see the beautiful crystal trophy. Both of these athletes will be fighting for Brenda Norman and Tiffany Stanbrough. Brenda Norman from Indianapolis, Indiana, and she had to tune out all the fans, all the family throughout the week. Sometimes it's a help, sometimes it can be a little bit of a hindrance. But she was appreciative of them being there. But I know from bowling in Rockford, Illinois, near home, sometimes it's hard to learn to tune them out.
Oh, because you just want to do so good for yourself and impress them at the same time.
Brenda Norman, first time as a top seed in a tournament. Could be feeling a little bit of nerves with the opening shot.
Yeah, and I didn't really like her reaction while she was practicing. She didn't look like she had that great a shot, but boy, I'll tell you, she has such a nice physical game. She makes even a shot like that look good.
At least until it hits the pins.
At least until she leaves 6. You will see this young lady many times with a game like that.
Ooh, tough start for Brenda Norman as your first time as top seed.
Well, because you missed the head pin to the right, your normal reaction would be to move a little right to try and get the spare. And because the lane condition is so spotty at times where there's hook oil, just hooked away and she only got 2. Bad break for Brenda.
That went off quickly. Both of these ladies looking for their first title. We haven't had a first-time champion since 2000. Tennille Grijalva at the U.S. Open, July of 2000. So this will be quite a feat for one of these ladies winning their first title here out on tour. Pressure has to be on both of them. But Kathy, what would you say? I mean, Tiffany's been out here. She's performed twice in the 10th when she's needed it. Is it advantage, Stanbrough?
You have to almost say it is, because she's had play on the lanes now. She's comfortable. She's used to the light. She's used to the camera, the crowd. Yeah, you have to give Tiffany the advantage only because she's loose.
I agree.
But Brenda is a fighter.
She is. Watch the spirit in that lady when she gets going. I think both of these ladies will show a little bit of spirit here in this match.
No doubt about it.
7-pin.
That was a really good shot from Tiffany. Nice and strong. She's keeping the ball on line. Her ball speed is very, very consistent. And she should be proud of herself again. She's making her spares, Jan.
She is. And during the week, it was Stanbrough that came out on top over Norman, 203 to 172.
Ironic enough, also, Brenda Norman, who leads the tournament, had the lowest average on this TV pair with 198.33.
Now, don't you think the top seed should get to pick the TV pair?
Well, when I'm top seed, I'll let you know.
Just a concept, but Averaged 206 for the week here, a 15-9 match play record that put her into the top position. She was in second going into position round last night, went around Carolyn Dorin-Ballard, second frame, same result, missing the head pin.
Right. Now, Brenda is a very smart player. She's going to know now she either needs to switch balls or move, adjust on the lane. Beautiful physical game, picture perfect. Look at that knee bend. This young lady will never see early hook because she has such extension at the foul line and such a great release for such a tiny girl. Unfortunately, she leaves the washout.
This would really help her to get this spare, but not to be, taking 3. So now a real test for Brenda Norman. Time to regroup. She should know how to do it, though. She's from Nebraska, and she has a degree in psychology, so she should know how to go about regrouping here with a minor in education and human development.
You know, Brenda accomplished a lot of things this week, too. First time she ever led a round, first time she ever led a tournament, and now she's going for her first title. That's a lot to accomplish in 1 week. And let me tell you, I watched her bowl all week. She bowled phenomenal. Never lost her focus. And these were challenging conditions this week. Much better. Much better. She made the adjustment.
She said, all right. It was interesting. Tournament director Fran Deacon was telling me right before we started tonight that throughout the week, when Brenda started to slip down, she'd lose her focus a little bit. You could watch her, and she'd see she dropped in the standings, and she'd jump right back up.
Now there, I think she moved a little right, or she stayed where she was and softened up her ball speed. Like we said, ball speed is crucial.
All right, and a spare.
She can take a breather.
Tiffany now up in the third, working on 2 spares. 6 career TV appearances.
Oh, nice shot by Tiffany.
The quest for the Stanley Cup has reached its final chapter. The Detroit Red Wings, who lead the series 2-1 after their exciting 3-overtime victory yesterday, look to make it 3-1 as ABC Sports presents Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Finals Monday night at 8 p.m. ABC Sports Championship Television. And Monday night on ESPN2, be sure to join John Saunders and Barry Melrose for a breakdown of all the Stanley Cup action as Quest for the Cup proceeds. All Stanley Cup Finals games at 7:30. For more information, be sure to log on to ESPN.com. Tiffany up very quickly, making her shot in the 4th frame.
Do you get the feeling they want this game to be over quickly?
I believe so. Brenda looking over at the score. It looked like she was glancing at the score, but fortunate that Tiffany Stanbrough, fortunate for Brenda, Tiffany hasn't doubled yet. As Brenda Norman trails by 22 pins.
You know, Brenda's strength this week was that she got to play her A game. She likes to play in, obviously. Look at her physical ability. And it worked for her. There you go. Oh, you heard her. She gave a yes. Wait till you see her horns come out. Stayed with the shot. Beautiful ball speed. Allows the lane once again to bring it in. And do you think she wanted that? Right there. Yes, she did.
198 average on the TV pair, as you mentioned. Not one of the better averages, but tonight's a different night.
You can hear her taking a deep breath. Very important. Excellent comeback by Brenda.
Comes back with 2 big strikes. Tiffany Stanbrough in the lead, but will Brenda Norman or Tiffany Stanbrough capture their first title? Stay right where you are to find out. We're back at the Greater Terre Haute Open. We're inside the Terre Haute Bowling Center in the championship match where Stanbrough leads by 12 pins through 4.5 frames. I'm Jan Schmidt, along with Cathy Dorin-Lizzi. Brenda Norman looking down, just through a couple of strikes. Tiffany Stanbrough now up in the 5th frame. But in the lead by 12 by virtue of staying clean, and I shouldn't have gone there. Split for Tiffany and looks surprised. She said,
Yeah, I think she might have pulled it just a little bit, but looked good. Now that I see it on the replay, it didn't look that bad at the release, but her shot could be breaking down a little bit. Remember, she had another lefty on the show too, Cara, so that's important.
And she's come through all three, through all the matches, so a lot of play on the left side of the lane.
She may need to just make a little adjustment, but first she has to ask herself if she threw it bad.
By the I'm thinking maybe she thought she didn't, but she could have been thinking about it. Ooh, and the same thing back to back.
Now I thought that was a good shot, so she may have to make an adjustment. You can see her ball's right on the nose of the head pin, and unfortunately not breaking anything up to give her a break for an easier spare. So Tiffany's going to have to make an adjustment on both lanes. Now it's still early in the game.
It could be that Brenda put a little pressure on Tiffany here by coming back with these strikes.
And these were 2 picture-perfect shots.
4th frame, 5th frame.
I think she screamed them down, Jan.
I think she did. She now leads by 13 pins, can take it to 23 if she strikes here in the 6th.
Come on, yes!
Why did we mic her? We don't need the mic.
I just love that, though. I really do. That just shows everything. You know, this young lady's coming off 2 weeks where she didn't even make the cut. So here she comes back. She's leading the tournament, so she's got a lot going through that mind of hers.
Well, she took a break, didn't she? Got a little refreshed, took off for a couple days.
Took off, went down to see Tim Mack. She wants to say hi to him and his family who are home watching, I'm sure, biting their nails. Came back nice and refreshed. Her mom and dad are here. Makes a big difference to get away from what you said, the soap opera life.
Exactly. 23rd, her best finish until this week this year.
Oh, another beautiful shot.
Okay, leaving the 10 pin, and she'll now just want to shoot her spares.
Now, you can't do anything about those. That was perfect. Same line, just wrapped the 10. And she thought she had it. Switches to the plastic ball. This will be an easy spare for Brenda.
As we mentioned, she has everybody here. I mean, Mom, Dee, Dad, Ted, grandparents, everybody here with her, rooting for her right now. And I bet they're probably more nervous than Brenda is.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it. And you can see the scores haven't been extremely high except for that 1 week. So staying clean wins tournaments. It wins matches. Very important to just try to stay clean.
Tiffany Stanbrough trying to jump, get back after 2 open.
Oh, excellent shot, and she definitely made an adjustment. It appears she moved a little right, gave the ball a little room.
Stanbrough now trailing by 22 pins. Brenda continuing to look down, not wanting to see what'll happen on this shot.
This is a must-have here. Oh. Now that's a bad break. And you can tell by the expression on her face. Lovely. Again, high on the head pin, but not getting the break and knocking the 7 pin down. She kind of knew as soon as she let it go. But this is spareable.
She gave it a run. She had to give it a run at this point. She needed to give up the pin if she had to. If you're enjoying this show, Sunday, the Professional Women's Bowling Association Tour continues east to ABC Lanes West in Mechanicsburg, PA for the Greater Harrisburg Open. The title is up for grabs as defending champion Dee Dee Davidson will not compete due to injury. Tune into the PWBA Tour live every Sunday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. For more information, go to ESPN.com or you can visit PWBA.com. Brenda Norman is trying to nail that coffin shut.
She told us her game plan was to make good shots, and that's exactly what she's doing. Taking out the first two frames, that's exactly what she's done.
She now leads by 36 pins. Her max score possibility 226. Stanbrough, best she could do at this point, 180. So what a turnaround of events after halfway through this match when Stanbrough was in the lead.
And the situation could be different if Tiffany had just gotten 1 or 2 breaks on those splits. Another 10 pin on 19 for Brenda.
As I mentioned earlier, Carol Giannotti Block chopped that spare in the position round to just miss the show. Tish Johnson, hey, happy 40th birthday. She turned 40 yesterday. I wasn't supposed to tell anyone.
Well, we had our U.S. Open and our Queen's Champ up here with us, Kim Terrell, and our Rookie of the Year from last year, Kelly Kulik, in 14th, coming out of a little bit of a slump.
Brenda taking a deep breath again to shoot this spare. You don't want to give anything up. No mistakes here, and she covers it solid, and she knows what that spare probably just meant. Anne-Marie Dugan is out in the truck doing all the graphics for you. Lisa Bishop, she's the VP of the Players Association, back out on tour.
Jennifer Swanson from Shelton, Connecticut, 21st. Hi to your grandma, Jennifer. And Michelle Silver coming all the way from LA, finishing 24th.
Good ball is right, Tiffany. Solid 9-pin. What a great shot. She did about all she could do until this championship match, and the next time she gets here, it'll be a different story.
Jan, she has absolutely everything to be proud of. She did exactly what she came here to do, except leave with the trophy. She came back from those disastrous splits, and that was an awesome shot. She's got to pat herself on the back. Believe me, we'll see more of Tiffany.
Well, 2 out of 3 shows that is definite progress. Tiffany, by slowing that ball down just a little, her whole process, her thought process, executing every shot, and that was the key, she said, she really hadn't been doing. Sometimes she bowled so quickly that she didn't execute to its fullest on every shot.
Well, look at her. She's got fast feet, fast arm, fast ball speed. It's hard to take so many fast components and try to slow everything down at once. But you can see she made the adjustment because now she came up light, which is smart. At least she's still trying to keep her head above water.
Well, it doesn't matter. Tiffany will finish up in 2nd place. Brenda Norman breaks through for her first title in front of friends and family. The championship round finals of the Greater Terre Haute Open are being brought to you by the Women's International Bowling Congress, striving for 87 years to identify and fulfill the needs of women bowlers. By Travelodge Hotels, proud to be the official lodging sponsor of the Professional Women's Bowling Association. And by PWBA.com, the tour's official site for news and information about the PWBA and its athletes. There's your champion of the Greater Terre Haute Open, Brenda Norman. Final score 195 to 148. Rick Braden, proprietor of Terre Haute Bowling Center, with the trophy, and Dave Patterson, executive director of the Terre Haute Visitors and Convention Bureau, with a check. Sweet victory in front of her home crowd. Join us next Sunday at 4:30 Eastern for the Greater Harrisburg Open from ABC West in Mechanicsburg, PA. Stay tuned for Sports Center. That's coming up next. For Cathy Dorin-Lizzi, I'm Jan Schmidt, bidding you farewell from Terre Haute, Indiana, where the victory was oh so sweet for Brenda Norman. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com.